Have you ever wondered what sleep used to smell like? Long before melatonin pills, bedtime playlists, or digital clocks, there was a time when people went out in search of dreams. Not in their minds, but in tiny apothecary shops tucked between candle makers and cobblers. Tonight, let us drift back to a quiet street in Paris, sometime around 1723. The gas lights are flickering, horses echo off cobbled alleys, and in the warm amber glow of Rue Saint-Roch, a little shop has just opened its wooden shutters to sell something quite unusual for its time. Sleep. The owner, a former barber named One-Eye, had concocted a sleeping potion so powerful it would knock a man out cold within seconds. It smelled like lavender in old books and was guaranteed to cure insomnia, a problem that plagued the wealthy as much as it did the poor. For a small fee, one could purchase a bottle of this fragrant oblivion. And as the night wore on, the moon rising higher in the sky, the streets below One-Eye's shop echoed with the soft snores of its customers. The shop is narrow, no wider than a carriage's length. Its sign reads, Chamomile and Simples. Sleep and Simples. The word simples referring to medicinal herbs used singly. Inside, shelves creak under the weight of glass jars filled with dried flowers and roots. From the ceiling, bundles of lavender, crushed chamomile, valerian root and lemon balm hang like a fragrant mobile, their scents mingling with the smell of beeswax and dust. The shopkeeper, Mademoiselle Élodie Armand, is not a healer by trade. Her mother was a midwife, and her father, a printer. But Élodie has a talent for knowing what scent will come, what soul. She speaks softly, wears gloves to keep her hands from smelling too strongly of herbs, and begins each day with a small ritual, grinding just 3 fennel seeds between her palms. She says it helps her to focus. Each customer is different. The soldier with dreams too loud to bear, the seamstress whose thoughts won't quiet after midnight, even a bishop once who asked discreetly for a tonic before sermons. She doesn't ask questions. She only listens to the rhythm of their voice, their pace of breath, and then begins to blend. One evening in late October, a man enters, his coat patched, his eyes shadowed, but his posture surprisingly upright. He introduces himself simply as Monsieur Luc. He cannot sleep, he says, because his neighbor's clock ticks too loudly through the walls. That and his own regrets. Élodie tilts her head gently. She doesn't offer sympathy, only a soft reply. Some sounds are inside us, not outside. She turns to her apothecary drawers and begins her quiet symphony. A touch of hops, a spoon of crushed magnolia bark, and most curiously a pinch of scorched lettuce leaf, browned in a tiny iron pan. A remedy that had once traveled from the kitchens of southern Italy, where mothers brooded into bedtime broth. As she works, she hums, not a song, really more like a sigh, in melody. The sound of someone dreaming with their eyes open. She adds a single drop of orange blossom water to finish. Not for chemistry, but comfort. When she hands him the sachet, it's still warm. She instructs him to boil it gently in a copper pot. Inhale, drink, then sit near an open window and wait. He returns 4 days later. He doesn't speak much, but he sets a small blue glass marble on her counter, a thank you from his childhood. She accepts it as if it were gold. Have you ever noticed how certain smells make your shoulders fall? Just a little? The faint perfume of pages in an old book, the first curl of steam from a cup of tea, or the scent of lavender crushed beneath warm palms. In 18th century Paris, sleep wasn't just something that came at night. It was a craft, a longing, a puzzle to be solved with petals and patience. Some thought the remedies worked because of science. Others thought they worked because Élodie believed they would. But maybe it was simpler than that. Maybe it was the act of being seen, quietly, without judgment, by someone who understood that sleep was not surrender, but shelter. As the shop closes each night, Élodie lights a single beeswax candle in the back room. She boils her own small blend, violet leaf, cardamom husk, and a curl of cinnamon bark. She drinks it alone, seated on a stool near the back window, where the rooftops of Paris stretch out like soft waves. The city doesn't sleep, Isolate. Not then, not now. But in a single glowing window on Rue Saint-Roch, someone once offered sleep in the form of scent, warmth, and silence. And tonight, perhaps, you too can find a little sleep. Not in the world outside, but in the soft place that lives just behind your breath. Good night.